Greetings, friends. Welcome to Building Healthy Habits with Sweetness Jumbo. Today we're on a new series titled True Beauty, and I have two beautiful women who are going to share with us their experiences and their definition of true beauty. So let me just welcome them, and they'll tell us about themselves. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Can you
Hi,
guys?
Susan.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
I can hear you.
All right, great. So, guys, welcome to Building Healthy Habits. As I've already told you guys, that today we are going to be speaking on true beauty, and I chose you guys. I mean, you guys are beautiful in and out, and I really want you guys to just speak from the bottom of your heart. You know, just dive deep on this true beauty topic. Yeah, we don't, like I said before, we don't have to say the same things. We don't have to, agree on the same things. Whatever your definition of true beauty is okay. So, without me wasting any time, I would like you guys to just introduce yourselves to our viewers. I think we can just start with Paula.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Paula. I don't know what else to say, honestly, but I'm Paula. And I am a process expert in L'Oreal. I have studied chemistry and pursuing a degree in chemical engineering, and I am deep in love with the Lord. Yeah, that's just about it.
Great, thanks, Paula. Then we'll move to Deseto.
Hi everyone, I'm DC, so the shy one, not so much, but um I like reading. I like listening to music. Somewhere along in that mix, there's science, biochemistry, and all of the mess. But I enjoy my different aspects that I have that I can venture into.
Great. Thank you, guys. I don't know if I should say how I met you guys, or we should just, sorry about that, move forward. Okay. So here's a question for you guys. What has been the definition of beauty growing up? I don't know who
Whoa!
wants to go.
Yeah.
What has been the
Um,
definition? You see, I'm not saying true beauty. The
Yeah.
question is, what has been the definition of beauty growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, can I go first?
Yeah.
Growing up, it used to be people who are like popular, people who are easy on the eye, people who are usually like petite, light skinned, perfect almost everything, perfect eyes, teeth, nose, legs, according to the people around you. That used to be the perfect beauty standard. And when you look at it, you're like, I don't really fit in those boxes. I think I have my own box on the side, and then you kind of, you draw in from the crowd because all those standards set out for you, like you can't find yourself in them. So those are the kind of the standards that I came across when I was growing up.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Disedzo, because for me also it was more physical, than
Yeah.
anything else. So it was definitely looks. If a person looks in a certain way, a particular shape, walks also a certain way, and also the popularity thing also was a thing. If a person is popular and is talkative and gels well with the crowd and all of that, definitely. So my idea growing up, it was your Tyra Banks, your Beyonces, because they are hip. It's not just only how they looked, but also their personality. They're out there, outgoing, and all of that.
Exactly.
So for me, it was like, oh, okay. And even also how they were able to speak fluently. For me, it was also a thing. So it was like, that's a package. If we're saying that someone is beautiful, they're speaking fluently, they look good, they like by everyone, and that's that.
All right. So, do you guys think you met all those expectations, or maybe some of those expectations?
Definitely not.
Most of them not. Not because I mean, growing up, like I was a very chubby girl. Not I'm a bit, but like I was really chubby when compared to my friends. And I started wearing glasses at a young age, so already that knocks you off the ball. And like boys used to really be intimidated by the way I am, the kind of person that I am. So it was not so easy for people to think that I'm pretty. So when someone says you're pretty, I'm like, you're lying. What do you want? You know, those kind of things. And I found it very difficult to believe people because when I looked at the standards that they set, for me, I didn't even fit in those boxes. Okay, she's not, she's not petite. She's not tall. Yeah, she's a bit light skinned, so but she's not the kind of the norm, the average norm beauty that standard. She's not very outspoken. You have
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
interact with her on a level basis. She doesn't go and pout and her energy just goes off at you. You have to draw it out of her. So it just made me feel like I don't fit in those boxes that were put on there.
Okay. And with you, Paula?
Yeah, so definitely also, I don't feel like you know, I met all of those expectations of my idea of what true beauty was growing up or what it was portrayed to be. Interestingly, she talks about being petite and all of that. With me, I had that petite body, but I felt like
Yeah,
that was the
still.
one thing that made me ugly. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, you can be petite, but not too petite. And I felt like I was too, you know what I mean? So, and it was that. And also just being tall, I was like, oh, everything about me is just too extreme, too slender, too tall, and all of that. And also, I highlighted the side of, that nature of being out there, being outspoken, as Diseto also just mentioned. And for me, I'm an introvert, I keep to myself and all of that. And all of that, it was like, okay, of course, me, I'm not even entertaining that much. People are not even drawn to me. I'm not popular and all of that. And I just felt like, nah, so definitely I would always think that there's something that's lacking or something that's missing, something that I had to do, to make up and just be truly beautiful.
And you know what? I think it's one thing that really surprised me. I think growing up is that every girl has that issue. Because, like you're saying, I mean, the standards. Whether you could be light skin, petite, and all those things. But sometimes you meet people who are petite, light skinned, and they still have issues. You know. So, do you ever have somebody? Is there anyone who meets those standards? I don't think so. Those standards that the society sets up for us, nobody meets them. Because I like the same thing with myself. I was big growing up, and I always thought beauty was, being petite. Being light skin was not really a thing for me. I think because I've always been a big child, that was my struggle. So I always thought, maybe being a bit slimmer makes you much more beautiful. But then you meet people who are slimmer and they also have the same issues. Like Paula is saying, if you're skinny, you think you're too skinny. And and I always think, why don't you guys appreciate yourself? We are here struggling to lose weight and you guys are out there complaining about your weight. But anyways, and let's just tackle this one thing. What is one thing in your body that you've learned to love? This means that what is one thing that you've grown up thinking, no, it doesn't meet the standards, but now you are basically okay with it?
Can I go first on this one? Because I think I've already highlighted it.
Yeah.
As I said, I just felt like I was too skinny and I felt like I was just straight and I had no shape and so even in the way that I would choose my clothes, I'd always just choose like clothes that wouldn't show my body that much, like bigger size, so that they don't see that you really super skinny, and for me it took my late friend Jabu. It took my late friend to actually compliment me, and just emphasize, that, oh man, you look
You're
fine. I
beautiful.
love that petite body. And, like all of that, like another girl actually, and the girl whose body that I appreciated because she was so curvaceous and all of that.
Curvy.
But with her, saying all of those things to me, gradually I was like, okay, maybe I'm not so bad, And then over the years with that, I learned to just appreciate that. Because I knew also that it came from a genuine place. It was different from
Yeah.
when guys were saying it because you're also not sure, if they're really meaning it or they're
True.
just trying to, what I mean. So it came from a genuine place, from a person that I knew that loved and appreciated me. And also it was a thing for me that she had a body that I actually wanted to have and she appreciated my body. So yeah.
Yeah, decent.
Well, with me, I think I learned how to appreciate my hands because currently I have like 17. So growing up, it was just like, why don't I look like other kids? Why aren't like what's wrong with me? And I started to box myself, and people like when I come across people as I grew up, people are like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Can I see? I'm like, okay, this is weird. I thought people would want to touch, and I'm like, okay, this is really, really weird. But in my household, my parents used to also be like, no, you're normal. You're like any other kid. You play around, you're energetic and whatever. That's all that you need to focus on. Don't focus that you don't look like other kids or whatever. You are you, and that's your speciality. If you want to look like someone else, then you are missing the point of being yourself. So growing up, I decided, okay, fine. I'm gonna deal with this for the rest of my life, so I might as well just have fun with it. So even when I'm with my family, I would just make like if something comes up that's linked to the way my hands are, then I would just put a joke out there, and my family would be like, yeah, well, I need it, you know. But like that's how I managed to accept it because now I know that I wouldn't go to surgery and be like, no guys, please add some more fingers. So why? If I came into this world like this is how I'm gonna enjoy it. I'll find a way to make it fun for me, to make it comfortable for me. And even with my body as well, because I would get people like, oh, you can wear like any other top that you want. I have big boobs, but I can't wear any top because people would always be zooming in on the upper body, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's a plus for me because I didn't see it. I never saw my physical as beautiful. Because it was never a thing for me. It was always like academics and everything else, but not the physical. So I never really paid attention to the way I looked until someone pointed out. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is the thing that I should look into. Maybe this is the thing that I should accept. Because someone else finds it interesting, someone else finds it beautiful more than the person who actually has it, which is me, that is actually living with it.
Oh yeah, interesting. With me, I don't. You know what? Growing up, I don't think I had. I mean, I know that I grew up, big, but it wasn't really an issue for me growing up. I think it was later on just the things that people kept on, people's comments. I think because I grew up with this confident, I didn't really see myself as different until I realized that no, actually, people were saying things. When people say things, then you start to notice that no, man, something is really not right. But initially, I was okay because most of my friends were petite and I didn't have a problem with it. I think one thing that I struggled with initially, not necessarily struggle with, but or maybe it's because of my confidence. Sorry, it's the same thing. I mean, I think one time I had a comment from somebody who was like, "Oh, you are big headed," as in you are too confident or you talk too much. Those kind of things. Like because of that character, you may never really meet somebody who's gonna commit to you and marry you. Like, and for me, and you know what, I didn't really respond to that, but I sat down and I thought about it, and I was so emotional because I was like, what is wrong with me being vocal? What is wrong with me being the person? Because I'm born like this. I'm an extrovert. There's nothing I can do, you know. So now I was thinking of ways of, you know, trying to change, maybe speak less, you know, don't engage much. But I mean, you can't change yourself. You really can't change yourself. So yeah, so with me, that's growing up. I didn't really have issues until people started raising those issues, even with my body. With my friends, you know, every time I was around them, they would say things, and I think for them it was like jokingly, you know. They would say things like, oh this, oh that. And I remember one time, I remember this so like I can remember this like it happened yesterday. It was one of our friends' wedding, and I think we had to use this car, you know, and they told me to sit in front because I was big. So I was like, okay, I sat in front. And now I remember that, you know what, when we were still in varsity, in fact, at that time we were still in varsity, but we were already doing postgrad. And I remember that, you know what, when we were still like doing our undergrads, I've always been told to sit in front. Why? Why can't I sit at the back? You know, so now I started really dwelling on these things, dwelling on these comments. And then another comment again, still at the wedding. I think we had to take out our shoes. Yeah, we had to take out our shoes because we were bridesmaids. So now this one lady, you know, we had to bring back our shoes now because we had to move from one place to another. So now she's trying to ask us, okay, which one is your shoe? Which one is your shoe? What size is your shoe? I'm telling you, a friend of mine just went straight and like size 7. Oh no, she didn't say size 7. She said the biggest shoe, the biggest shoe. It hit me, like it really hit me. I'm like, so that is actually how I look. Like, it means that I'm the biggest person and I have the biggest legs. Like, I was so hurt. That is when like everything started coming up. Like, I started thinking back, like, oh, people have been saying this. These are people who sit around me, and because, you know, we usually say jokes, you know, we usually joke around. I don't really take things serious, but on that day, like flashbacks, like, okay, these people have been saying this. I cried. Like, I remember that day. It was a wedding, but yeah, it ended up being a nightmare for me. I cried. Like, I didn't cry there and there. I had to think about it, and then I started realizing that no, maybe I just because of my, you know, because of how I am, because of my character, I don't know, maybe I tried to just push these things under the carpet, you know, just laugh about them. But at that time, you know, it just hit me really hard. And that's when I realized that, you know what, yeah, this is something I really have to work on. And I started questioning myself, you know, am I beautiful? Do I fit that picture? You know, because I'm big, because, like my friend says, I have the biggest shoe, you know, amongst all the shoes that are in there. Mine is, I mean, how do you say that? Think about, how do you say that? I was so hurt. So that thing was only revealed later on in my life, that no, you know, you might have a problem here and there. So yeah, that has been the thing for me, guys. So now that you've
you move on. Sorry, maybe before you move on. I think also one of the things that really hurts us the most is how people tend to express these things, you know, or comment. As you said, it's actually their comments more than anything, you know what I mean? That tend to kill your confidence or just bruise your confidence a little bit, because like if you can just be polite in addressing whatever it is that you want to address, then it'd be a bit better. So I think that as well plays a huge role in it.
Yeah, true. Okay, guys, so now here's a question. So now that I'm not sure if your definition of beauty has changed, now I want to ask you, is true beauty, not just beauty, is true beauty physical? Do you guys think it's physical? Rumi, Tisset, let's start with you since you're not on mute.
Well, honestly, I don't think it's physical. Because a lot of times you find people who are like physically beautiful, what we see is physically beautiful, but when you interact with them, when you speak with them, we just give you a whole different picture that is soiled. And then you ask yourself, character, physical, they don't meet. So you just try to find a way to make them look beautiful in your eyes, but you're like, it still doesn't gel, you know, because of how they speak, what they say to other people. Because sometimes you can see someone is beautiful physically, but when they speak to other people, how they treat them, it's just horrific,
It's ugly.
and they don't even see the issue in that. They just go ahead and do it until someone points it out. And even when someone points it out, they find it very offensive. Like, why would you say that about me? Like, how can you say such a thing? I mean, that's not even a thing. That's not what I'm doing. Until, I don't know, maybe if someone that they are used to, then they tell them the same thing, then they realize, oh snap, I've been actually like hurting other people with these kind of words, and I've been avoiding to pay attention because I'm the it person. So that's why I don't say that beauty is true beauty rather is physical, because I mean, beauty fades at the end of the day. I mean, God forbid someone can get into an accident and then they have a scratch or scar and all of that, like it just goes offline. And then now we know you as that person with the scar. Now you are not, and it also damages that person's self-esteem. That, okay, yes, people used to think that I'm beautiful, but now I have a scar on my face, and maybe it might be right across the face, and if they were putting their true beauty according to that standard, then it's already crushed for them, unlike looking at what's inside, because that's the person that people have to live with each and every day they interact with you, and not the physical. I mean, you can get burned, you can, all of those different physical things that are around us that can happen, accidentally, that can affect the physical beauty. Someone can lose their leg, can lose their arm, and the physical beauty just jades. But if the person inside is consistently beautiful, yes, they have mistakes, but they're consistently beautiful, and you're able to give that calm effect to other people, then your beauty never runs out, even if something happens physically with you.
Thanks, Rumi. Paula?
Yeah, I'd say not entirely. It's not entirely physical. And I'm not also fully excluding the physical part of it, because I think there's beauty in our differences, in how we actually look. There's beauty in that. We're all different. You have people who are petite, you have people who are big, you have people who are super tall, you have people, and that's beautiful. And I think also in the physical sense, in how you present yourself, you know what I mean? Because you can be this fun person, and in the way that maybe in just your clothing, you out there wearing all of these too short skirts or too revealing things and all of that. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? But also in maybe you presenting yourself in a way that you are dressed modestly. In the physical sense, that's also beautiful, and then it's not limited to that, right? I feel like the major part of it, as Tisetso shared, it's inner beauty, how you carry yourself, how you relate to people, the way you talk to people. That on its own, that is what makes a person beautiful. And I think also, as she also has highlighted, if you are this beautiful person, but you have this nasty attitude, already that's a turn off, already that's a turn off. But if you're a person who's gentle in also the way that they speak, you are this loving person, you are a person who's wise, that's beautiful. If you're a person who's into helping people, into bringing out the best in people, that is beautiful, so that is my definition of beauty.
Hi, you guys. Wisdom. Wise words. Wisdom. You know what? I agree with I agree with both of you. True beauty. Tisetso says it's not. It is and it's not. And just to combine your comments, I would say that what you are outside is what you are inside. Like, you cannot be different. You cannot be a different person outside from what you are inside. Whatever we see you portray, whatever we see you do, I mean, everything, you combine everything, how you dress, how you speak, how you walk, everything that you do is basically who you are inside. And for me, that's just a summary. So now, guys, please explain to us now your definition of true beauty. Now, this is your definition. So when you're done giving us this definition, please tell us if you meet your definition of true beauty. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Okay. I think like both of us have touched on our own definition of beauty in the the previous comments that we made on the previous response, in that it's not only physical, or it's not physical at all for Tisetso. It's more about the inner person, and I think more than anything, honestly, true beauty for me, it lies within in your heart. It's what you actually give out to people, because as Sweetness just mentioned, that what you are inside is actually what overflows, and it is actually what people perceive and receive of you. So for me, a beautiful person is a person really who is loving, a person who is gentle in the way that they speak, a person who is not conceited and is not just this pride person, a person who cares genuinely, about others and the well-being of others. That's for me and also uses and do I think I meet that standard? I won't say that I'm there and I've reached it and it's all of that. There are areas still in my life that I'm like, I can still do better in this, but I'm way much more better than I was before. And truly my definition of beauty has also shifted entirely from what I used to think. It's not about looks. It's not limited to looks. It's way beyond that, So I think that's my response.
Well, on my end,
It's great.
I would still maintain that it's not physical. And if I meet the standards, well, I wouldn't say 100% because I'm still learning a lot of aspects of myself that I need to fix and that I don't like. So I'm on the way, but I'm not as far back as I used to be, even with my character as well, how to interact with people. For me, it's a learning curve. So that the more beautiful I become is when I actually work on the parts of me that are really challenging for me, and that's how I look at the beauty scale that I have in my head. So yeah, that's
all right. Rumi, do you mind muting when you're okay? Thanks. So I think I forgot because now I was sending a comment to keep. What was the question? Explain your definition of true beauty and if it has evolved over the... just a comment on what you guys were saying. Do I meet I mean, I agree with both of you. Do I meet that definition of true beauty? I think one thing I've just, accepted. One thing I've realized and, I've always thought that maybe that's just the melancholic side of me. I've always wanted to look really perfect in the eyes of people. Not that I don't have my flaws or I didn't have my flaws. I do. I mean, and I still do. But I've always wanted to be. I think growing up, the way my dad, treated me and the way he wanted me to act around people. I've just always had that thing, you would see when I'm around people, I should act a certain way. Even if I'm feeling some way, something inside of me, I just always want to portray a certain I don't know, a certain character. Like I don't do this. And I always stick to laws. Like you don't do this. In order for people to see you as perfect, you're not supposed to do a certain thing. You're not supposed to say it a certain way. You understand? Or you're not supposed to let people see you do that. You understand? So it doesn't mean that I don't do those things, but it's like no. And you know what? When you try and do that, you almost maybe always snap, and then you feel guilty because then you're trying to push something inside of you that you don't want people to see, but it's actually pushing out. You understand? So then I realized that, you know what, I have flaws. The first thing for me was to realize that, look, I have flaws that I need to work on. Because for me, like you guys are saying, true beauty is on the inside. If I'm all beautiful, petite, and all this, and I don't treat people well, I am not nice to people, I'm rude and stuff, then I mean, it's a waste of beauty, honestly. So I would also say that I'm also a work in progress. And I think I've grown. It's I always say that life really grooms us. It matures, like it helps us to mature and grow. Situations in life, if you find somebody who's prideful, who is rude and stuff, if you think that just telling them or just letting them, in fact, sometimes when you let those people know, people like me, if you tell me that sweetness, no, this thing is not, look, I snap. I get so defensive because why? People are not supposed to know that about me. People are not supposed to see that picture. People are supposed to know this sweetness, or this perfect sweetness, or this law abiding citizen. So yeah. But I've learned, and I'm still learning that look, I'm flawed, and I love the fact that Jesus accepts us the way we are, and he works with us. I mean, we are work in progress. Every time somebody comes to me and tells me that, or every time I read like such comments, maybe I think I usually have these conversations with kids sometimes. When I see, I don't know, I just want to give a quick example. Maybe I'll remember. No, it's fine. Let's continue. I forgot it now, but I'll remember. Okay, guys, so now how do we encourage young women out there who have not, I think we are very similar in our explanation of true beauty. I mean, there's so many definitions. You guys have said that, in your heart, this and this and that. How do we now encourage young women? Because, I mean, we're speaking to other women out there who have not, who probably are still struggling with this, meeting the standards of, the world standards of beauty. How do we encourage them? What do you guys say?
Okay. For me, I'd say just embrace yourself holistically. Embrace your differences, because that is also what makes you beautiful. It is your
Exactly.
uniqueness that makes you beautiful, that makes you stand out. Embrace yourself and love yourself. Learn to appreciate yourself, because sometimes
Exactly.
people will not come and give you, what people will not come and give you that confidence that you want, or come and
Exactly.
what's the word? Encourage you and appreciate you. So we can't say you'll wait until people come and they encourage you, because sometimes it might not happen. So the best thing is to embrace yourself right now as you are, and embrace your differences, because you'd later see that it is actually your differences that make you cool. So yeah.
Okay. I'd say that start finding out who you are. Because as Paula said, your differences add to your total package of being beautiful. And don't be too hard on yourself, because you trying to fit yourself into, a triangle, when you are like another shape, it defeats the purpose of your differences. It plucks them out. It's just like it's putting you in a box, like, yeah, you're like everything else, you average and whatever and whatever. But you know that you're not average. So find you, and once you found you, then you are able to love the different aspects of you. Sorry. You're able to love the different aspects of you that you still need to work on. And it's not going to be a one-day job. It's not going to be a microwave situation. It takes time. Accepting yourself takes time. And some things that you can't change, you have to accept, unfortunately. But the ones that you can work on, go ahead, work on them. And each step is a goal to be celebrated. Small victories like learning how to interact with people. Celebrate that, learning how to love someone. Something as simple as love. It's also not so simple, but learning how to love someone because you don't have a background of love. It's also a goal to achieve. I mean, to celebrate rather. So the small little things, they make up the big basket of your beauty, and that's how you grow. You learn to love your mistakes, but you also learn how to work on them. And the ones that are already 100%, you keep on just shining them. It's like a piece of gold. You just, every now and then you touch the braso, and then you clean it out and it shines again. You keep the essence of who you are, and that's how you'll be able to move from one stage to other, even if in different areas or in different relations that you have with other people. You will still shine. Like the core of you will still pop out everywhere. Even if you can hide it from any other person, but if you're hiding you from you, then you're already numb. You're already dead to yourself, and you are still on earth. You're still experiencing life. So you need to expose you to you so that you are able to be comfortable to expose yourself to other people as well.
Thank you very much, Rumi. And I think for me, honestly, I'm just gonna share what works for me. I think what works for me is just letting God be God in my life, because I've realized, maybe it's because initially I've just always thought that I was this person, and only later realizing that no, man, I'm a human being like every other human being. So I just allow God to work on me. I mean, every time I surprise myself, I see something about myself that maybe people won't like, people don't like, or I don't like. I just allow God to be God, and work on me. Because honestly, if I have to try it on my own, it doesn't work. Like I'll just stress up myself, and yeah, and it really helps me. That's my own like recipe. That's what works for me. There's so many things that I think there's so many things that we can start counting about us that are just not so beautiful. And just to emphasize, maybe I didn't say this in the beginning, the reason why I started this True Beauty series is because, especially for big women like myself, I think I've just been seeing this trending, and I mentioned it on one of my social medias, that I've just been seeing these trending posts where, big women are trending and stuff. And I don't have a problem. I mean, I'm also a big woman. But I think I had an issue where, I've been seeing a lot of them putting out their, naked bodies out there. And I think you guys, I think you guys have been seeing my, my fully dressed pictures on Facebook. I've been seeing a lot of them naked and stuff. And honestly, that's my opinion. And I always say I have my own opinion. I stick to my opinion. I don't think that you have to, show your naked pictures on social media for people to think you're beautiful. Honestly, I don't. And I still don't, and I still disagree. The fact that, and I said this, I don't think that also dressing up is a thing for big women. No. Whether you are big or small, and on this episode I haven't uploaded it. I was particularly speaking to Christian women, because I know a lot of people disagree. They are entitled to their bodies, they are entitled to what they put up out there. But honestly, I don't think that we should strip ourselves naked, put our pictures out there for people to see that we love our. That is not confidence for me. That is definitely not confidence. If you're confident in yourself, it means that, look, if the world says that this is the norm, or this is how you look beautiful, you do then the opposite and still say, look, I look beautiful, I trust that I look beautiful. If you have to follow if you have to follow people into their, what do you call it, into a hole, so that you look like them, for me that is not confidence. If you start your own thing, or not necessarily the own thing, do the right thing, basically do the right thing, dress up, whether you put on makeup or whatsoever, I don't have a problem with that. But we don't have to expose our bodies. and especially to big women like myself. I will not wear a short skirt for people to realize that I'm confident in my thighs or I'm confident in my big bums. No. I'll put on my long dress or I'll put on my nice dress, long or not, as long as it covers what it should cover. But I'm still confident in myself. So that is it for me, guys.
Yeah, I think my biggest take on what you're saying there is that there's nothing to prove to anyone. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just embrace yourself as you are.
Anything to add, Rumza? Sorry, I've been calling you Rumza and you introduce yourself as Diseto. Sorry. Anything to add, Diseto?
Well, anything to add? I would say that loving yourself is the crux of just accepting who you are. And yes, you have also echoed that you don't need to prove to anyone that I'm gorgeous, but wearing a specific item and because I can come and look up a short dress. It's because it's something that I like. It's not because I'm trying to prove that I'm pretty or whatever. I'm easy on the eye, whatever the case may be. It's because I just genuinely like it, and that's my thing. And someone else can wear their short, long dress and they'll still look beautiful because it's what they like, it's what they prefer. But if you come across as you want people to see that you are beautiful, you want to be accepted as beautiful now, that's where the issue comes in because you already have not accepted yourself as being beautiful. Because now you're trying to do something to get someone's attention so that they can accept you well as you haven't accepted yourself as yet. And it becomes a big issue because at the end of the day, the people that you're trying to impress, they don't care. Like they're just out there just to say, oh, this person put a certain picture of themselves in this way. Okay, fine. Then next they carry on and they do whatever they need to do. Like they're not bothered, but you're constantly craving that people's attention because you're not at peace, like at a stage where you're like, I'm happy with myself. I don't need to prove that I'm pretty to whoever and whoever. I'm happy with myself. If I look at myself in the mirror right now, I am happy at the person that's looking right straight into my eyes and say, yeah, this girl is beautiful,
Yeah. Great, guys. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing your thoughts and sharing your experiences with us. I mean, I knew when I chose the both of you, I know you guys, like I said in the beginning, you guys are beautiful inside and outside. So that's why I chose you guys. I know that you guys you'd be honest about your definitions of true beauty. So thank you very much, Paula. Thank you very much, Diseto, for sharing with us. I don't know, maybe next time, now that I know of this StreamYard, we can always, have such topics and just to encourage young people out there because we never really had these opportunities before. We never really heard from the ones who are above us just to give us just to encourage us and to teach us. So I really like this is our form of giving back. Whoever gets an opportunity to listen to this thing, I know they'll definitely learn something. So thank you very much. So I hope you guys are keeping safe, staying at home and sanitizing and wearing your masks. So I'll see you guys. Thank you very much. God bless you guys. Bye. Thank you.
So much.
Thank
and
you.
we appreciate the work that you're doing. It's such an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm learning, I'm still learning, but we'll get there. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are helping me grow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.